You've probably heard me say on this channel before that the easiest way to build a business is to figure out what you love to do and build your business doing that. But what if you don't know what you love to do? Well, if that's the case, you're going to love today's show. I am Dana Wild. I am your host. You're listening to Positive Mindset for Entrepreneurs. And today you're going to discover what to do if you don't know what your passion is. And I'm going to give you a hack in this episode that you can use for any quote unquote problem you've got in your business. If you're having any kind of an issue figuring out what your mindset block is that's standing in your way, you're going to love today's episode. By the way, right out of the gate, if you're looking for your passion, I want to give you a little quiz, a little assessment that will help a lot. And it's my favorite price. It's free. You can go to danawild.com/marketing superpower, all together, all one word, danawild.com/marketing superpower. And there's a little assessment there that when you take it, it will give you an assessment of what your natural gifts are. If you're going to build your business, you might as well build it using your natural gifts. And if you opt in after you take the quiz, I'll give you a whole list of marketing ideas for how you can market your business using your natural gifts. So do check that out. Now, having said that, I'm going to read what came in from our listener in regard to this topic. Here was the post. It says, it feels like and looks like I haven't done a lot of money making activities in my business over this last year. And I think it's because I've never really discovered what it is I truly love doing. I want to find that one thing that I do that gets me out of bed with so much enthusiasm and joy that I just have to do it. How do I find that thing? So, great comment. I can totally appreciate this post because we hear that all the time, right? We hear that all the time. You have to find your passion. What's your passion? Live your life with passion. And, it does get where you're like, oh my gosh, what is my passion? What am I good at? What do I want out of my life? Like these feel like such big questions, don't they? So I would be remiss if I didn't start this episode by talking about the idea that you don't have to find your passion to build your business. You really don't. There's uh, kind of an underlying story that happens in the entrepreneurial space that is all about you have to be doing good in the world and you have to be living from your high self and you have to leave a legacy and you have to find your passion. And do you know what your why is? If you don't know your deep why, then you're never going to be successful. And really, it's just one more thing to feel bad about sometimes. If you don't know your passion or you don't have it right now or you don't know your why, don't stress about it. There's no reason to beat yourself up about it or make a big deal out of it. Um, I built this whole business without knowing my why. It's not like it's a requirement to know your why to build a business. I find for myself, it's easier to follow my fun than to follow my why. It's easier to follow my joy or to do the things that look like they might be fun to try or fun to play with than it is to figure out some deep, meaningful reason how I'm impacting the world. Like that just feels too heavy. So I had to say that up front. That being said, I'm going to tell you how you can solve this for yourself. You are looking for your passion. You're looking for that thing that gets you to jump out of bed in the morning with enthusiasm. Here's how you do it. You probably have heard me say in the past, the problem is not the problem. The problem is that I keep thinking and talking about the problem. So the problem is not the problem. The problem is that you keep thinking and talking about the problem. So the problem isn't that you don't have enthusiasm or you don't have a why or you don't have passion. The problem is that you keep saying it. So imagine now, really, you're going to laugh at yourself when you hear this. Imagine that you are telling a story in your head over and over again. I don't know my passion. I don't know my passion. I don't know what makes me excited. I don't know what makes me happy. I don't know what makes me happy. I don't know what makes me happy. I don't know. I have no idea what makes me happy. Now, really think about how hard it is for something to get through that noise that you're passionate about. Your brain is like a huge match-making machine. The reticular activating system, the RAS part of your brain, that RAS is going full-time all day, every day, listening in. "What do you got for me today? Let's hear what you got for me today." "Oh, I hear you. You're saying you don't know your passion. Got it. I'll keep matching that. Let me just throw a little bit of confusion dust on there so that you don't know your passion." So when we say something over and over again, our brain makes it true. Our brain is our number one best friend, wants to support us, and it makes anything you think about true for you. You will sift through the mucky muck and you will find it. So when I say the problem is not the problem is that you keep thinking and talking about the problem, it is as simple as shifting the way you talk about that problem. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that in just a second. I want to slip in a little uh, public service announcement for everybody who's got a problem about anything. If you want a little hack for how to figure out what your mental block is, here's what to do. You ask yourself this question: if I could wave a magic wand and fix one thing in my business, what would it be? Right? That's one possible question. You could also ask yourself the question or fill in the blank on the thing. I would be successful except that, or if only, and then fill in the blank. Now, whatever the answer is to that, if I could wave a magic wand and fix my business, I would get good at social media. I would have a VA. I would have a partner who supports me, right? I could be successful if only I weren't a procrastinator. If only I was better on video. If only I could. So think of all of those stories, and whatever the answer to that question is, that's your story. So this person who wrote, their story is that they haven't found their thing yet. They haven't found the thing they're passionate about. But you can find your story too by using that method. After you have what your story is or what it is, the problem is not the problem. The problem is that you keep thinking and talking about the problem. So in this case, you don't have to find your passion. You don't have to find that one thing that makes you enthusiastic. You just have to start talking like you found it or that you're finding it. So start a little story in the background of your day, in the background of your brain that sounds like, I'm starting to feel like something has shifted. I'm starting to notice that something has shifted. Now, you see that easy language? I'm starting to notice that something has shifted. What's something? Your brain knows. So you don't, this is the mantra, by the way, that works for everybody. Something is shifting. Something has shifted. Something has shifted. You can use that for everything because your brain knows what you've been focused on so much that it needs to shift. I'm starting to notice that something has shifted. I'm starting to notice that I'm feeling more passionate. I haven't got it all figured out yet, but remember that power word, but doesn't your brain doesn't hear anything comes before it, only hears what comes after it. I haven't got it all figured out yet, but I notice I'm getting more passionate, but I'm starting to feel more passionate, but I'm starting to feel more enthusiastic when I wake up. I'm starting to notice that something has shifted. I'm getting more enthusiastic. I'm getting better at clarifying what brings me joy. I'm starting to notice that I'm feeling more joy. It feels so good to feel more joy. Now, when I say start this little story in the back of your mind, what I specifically mean is when you are going about your day to day stuff and you are sitting there wiping down the counters in your kitchen, you're having just mundane nonsense stuff going in your brain. That's a time to go, oh, right now is a time when I could be telling that little story, practicing it. Practice those sentences during that time. Intentionally think those sentences. When you're sitting at a stoplight, have a little post-it note in your car that says stoplights so that when you're sitting at a stoplight, you go, oh, I'm just sitting here doing nothing. I could be thinking that story, right? If you're vacuuming, if you're walking the dog, whatever thing that is kind of like just mundane, bringing out the garbage, any of those little mundane tasks that you do, those are times that you can be training your brain. When you become a proactive thinker in your head, and the only criteria for the thoughts that you think are that they're thoughts that you want to be matched, right? So you want to think positive thoughts that you would like your reticular activating system to match. And B, they must feel good. They must feel good. So if I start saying, like, I'm starting to notice that something's shifting. I'm starting to feel a little better. I'm starting to notice my enthusiasm is perking up. I'm starting to notice I'm waking up in more joy. I'm starting to notice that I'm finding my passions. I'm noticing more things that bring me joy. It feels so good to move in this direction. I love what I'm doing. When you start telling that story, you can tell if it lifts you up and it feels good and you're on your way. And again, you can do that for anything. Isn't the brain awesome? Like, how cool is it that we have got these amazing, massive supercomputers in our head that will actually sift through the mucky muck and bring us everything that we want if with just a little focus. Generally speaking, if you tell that story kind of, semi consistently as you think about it over 72 hours, that's 3 days. By the third day, you will start to see evidence in your outside world that it's working. It takes about 3 days for the reticular activating system to kick in. Now, the other thing that you can do, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about the story that you can change, but another little thing that you can do that is helpful in this exact case that we're talking about here is notice as you go about your day when you're doing something that is bringing you joy, when you're doing something that is fun. So if you have some specific task that you're doing that's fun, and it can be a crazy task. I cleaned out my closets in a couple of rooms this weekend. And I realized, like, I love organizing. Like, that it really is something I'd love. Now, I know not everybody who's listening is going to go, oh, I love that too. But it's just kind of a weird little pleasure. So I made a little note, you like organizing stuff. Like, you actually enjoy and have fun organizing stuff. Think about the times you're really enjoying yourself and having fun. Are you writing? Are you connecting with somebody one on one? Are you telling stories and laughing? Are you learning content and discovering something and you're like, oh, I'm just enjoying this so much? Are you playing with animals? Are you out in nature? Like, everything counts. Notice the things that bring you joy and when you're having fun and things you're passionate about, because you'll start to notice some themes that go on with them. And that will help you kind of tap into the things that make you happy and the things that bring you passion. You'll notice the theme, like, I'm connecting, or I'm creating, or I'm thinking, or I'm learning, or what things really light you up, or I'm organizing, as in my case, right? Then the other thing I would like to say is, don't be in a hurry to find it. My guess is that you've probably got a lot of passions, not just one thing that lights you up. And so consider it like a day to day adventure, finding the things that light you up and that you have fun with and that you enjoy. Take the time to really savor the things that you find. Take the time to savor the fun moments that you're having and tell yourself that good story that it is it is being uncovered. You are uncovering it. So really start to savor this process of finding it, or milk it, milk this process of finding it, finding your passion. I'm starting to get better at this. It feels so good. I love exploring in this way. I love that my whole life could just be one fun moment after another. I love that I can build my business and build my life doing fun things. I love discovering those fun things. I love noticing the things that I do that I'm really enjoying. And I love noticing that I can make them more enjoyable by thinking enjoyable thoughts. I love being a brain trainer and thinking in my head. It feels so good to be a proactive thinker. I love exploring this planet. I feel so happy to be part of planet Earth, living this adventure and being a part of this amusement park called physical existence on this planet. I love being able to find my way and poke around and try different things. It feels so good to be a brain trainer and building my business a fun, light, and easy way. I love that any method I find that feels good, any method that I use that's fun, I can use that as a method for making money. I can use that as a story a piece that helps me to build my business faster. It feels so good to know that it doesn't matter what I'm doing or not doing, but the story I'm telling about what I'm doing or not doing. I love knowing that I can be, do, or have anything that I want. It's so fun to be a part of this, and keep telling that story and keep telling that story and keep milking it and keep thinking of new ways to think about it and talk about it and play and noticing the times that you're having fun and noticing the things that bring you joy. And without a doubt, you've totally got this.